What's the top fan Pakistan? Welcome to my channel. Today I'll be doing 50 facts about Hawaii. So yeah, let's get on to another quote of today. Another quote of today is Earth has no sorrow that heaven cannot heal. And that was by St. Thomas More. So yeah, let's move on to another 50 facts about Hawaii. Let's start it. Number 1. Hawaii is made up of 132 of different islands. While there are 132 different Hawaiian islands and 124 islets, shoals, and reefs, the eight main Hawaiian islands are Oahu, Maui, Kauai, Big Island. Big Island is not, that's it. That's actually the name. Big Island is actually its name. Molokai, Lanai, Niihau, and Kahu'olau. Kahu'olau. I'm pretty sure. Number 2, there are only 12 letters in the Hawaiian alphabet. When traveling to Hawaii for the first time, some of the street names are super long and can be a bit overwhelming, and GPS always pronounces them incorrectly. So it's kind of fascinating that while some of the words are very long, the Hawaiian language actually only has 12 letters. Its vowels is A, E, I, O, U. That's basically the same. That's actually the same in the U.S. And its consonants are only H, K, L, M, N, P, W. So that's it. That's only. So they have 5 vowels and 7 consonants. For the longer words, it's usually best to break them up into smaller words to make them easier to pronounce the first time. Pretty soon they will start rolling off your tongue. Number 3, Hawaii is the second widest state in the U.S. Most people don't realize that the way the Hawaiian Islands are situated make them the second widest state in the United States. That's one of the best Hawaiian fun facts. It's 1,523 miles between Niihau, so it's like Niihau, and the Big Island. The widest state is Alaska, which spans 2,700 miles. 2,700 miles. Number 4, Hawaii became the 50th state on August 20th, 1959. On July 4th, 1894, the Republic of Hawaii was established, and Stanford Dole, cousin of Dole Plantation's founder James Dole, became the Republic's first president. President William McKinley annexed Hawaii in 1898 and remained a U.S. territory until it became a state nearly 60 years later. It's the only U.S. state made up entirely of islands. It's also one of the smallest states. Number 5. Iolani Place is the only royal place in the United States. One of the most fascinating facts on Hawaii for kids is that Hawaii is one of the few states that was originally an independent nation. It was ruled by Hawaiian kings and queens called Ali apostrophe I until 1893 when the monarchy was overthrown. Iolani Palace was built in 1882 by King David Kalakaua and was the home of Hawaii's last reigning king and queen. It was registered as a National Historic Landmark in 1962 and today is one of the best historic sites in Hawaii to learn about the Hawaiian monarchy. They offer some pretty cool tours, and they have restored Iolani Palace to its former glory. And they've even tracked down furniture that were taken/sold 100 years ago. Number 6, Hawaii monarchy was illegally overthrown by the United States. Back in 1887, the United States began leasing Pearl Harbor to use as a military base. During this time, a group of non-Hawaiians formed the Hawaiian Patriotic League and decided to launch the rebellion of 1887 against the Hawaiian monarchy. That led to the Bayonet Constitution, where King Kalakaua was forced to sign a constitution to allow non-Hawaiians in his cabinet or face execution and greatly diminish his own power. Of course, this provided a lot of political tension between the king and his new cabinet members. So there was the Wilcox Rebellion of 1888, which was a plot to overthrow King Kalakaua and replace him with his sister, Princess Liliuokalani. King Kalakaua died in 1891 due to health issues, and Princess Liliuokalani became queen. A group of non-Hawaiian men in her cabinet formed a Committee of Public Safety, and they executed a military group to overthrow the Hawaiian Kingdom in 1893. This was with the help of American diplomat John O. Stevens and President Harrison and Secretary of State John W. Foster. They sent Marines to support the military coup and forced Queen Liliuokalani to abdicate her throne. Later, Princess Kaiulani, Hawaii's last princess, went to Washington, D.C. to speak out against the overthrow and even met with President Grover Cleveland, who was in favor of restoring the monarchy. However, his successor, President William McKinley, didn't agree. He was fighting the Spanish-American War, and so Hawaii was a strategic location, so he annexed Hawaii in 1898. In 1993, the United States government finally apologized for overthrowing Hawaii's monarchy. This act gave a kickstart to the Hawaii sovereignty movement led by Native Hawaiians. Number 7, Mauna Kea is the tallest mountain in the world. While most people consider Mount Everest to be the tallest mountain in the world at 29,032 feet, but that's only the seas you don't measure it from the base of the ocean. Mount Kea on the Big Island is 33,496 feet tall from the top of the mountain all the way down to the ocean floor. That's one of the most interesting facts on Hawaii. Number 8, Hawaii produces only 2% of the world's pineapple supply. Pineapple is what Hawaii is known for back in the day. There were tons of pineapple plantations across the islands. Today, there are only 2 commercial pineapple plantations left in Hawaii, Dole Plantation and Maui Gold Plantation. That's because it's cheaper to produce pineapple in other countries, but you can still buy Hawaii-grown pineapple all over Hawaii, and it's the only fresh produce you can bring back home to the mainland from Hawaii. Number 9, the Big Island grows about 42 acres each year. The Big Island is the youngest Hawaiian island and is constantly growing. That's because the Kilauea volcano has been actively erupting for the past 30 years. Each time it erupts, it spills into the ocean, and it adds up to about 42 acres of new land each year. That's one of the coolest facts about Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Number 10, each island is represented by a particular flower. Another fun fact about Hawaii is that each Hawaiian island is associated with a particular flower. Oahu is Ilima, Kauai, Mokohana berry, Maui, Lucky Lani, Big Island, Lihua Ohia, Molokai, White Kui blossom, Lanai, Kaunawa, Kahulok, Hina, and Nihau Pupu Shell. Number 11. Each Hawaiian island also has a designated color. In addition to a flower, each island also has a color. You'll see these colors in parades to represent islands. This is probably the most fun facts about Hawaii for kids. Oahu is yellow, Kauai is purple, Maui is pink, Big Island is red, Molokai is green, Lanai is orange, Kahula is gray, and Nihau is white. Number 12. Only 7,400 people live in Molokai. If you're looking to get away from crowds, Molokai population hovers around 7,400 people, and Molokai isn't even the smallest. Even fewer people live on the neighboring island of Lanai. Number 13. Molokai wins 3 records for natural wonders. Molokai is home to the world's highest sea cliffs, Hawaii's longest waterfall, and the largest white sand beach in Hawaii. Number 14. Kilauea is the world's most active volcano. While Hawaii is home to many amazing volcanoes, the most famous is Kilauea because it's the best place to see lava in Hawaii. It erupted continuously from 1983 to 2018 and most recently erupted in December 2020. You can experience the glory of Kilauea with a trip to Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. Number 15. Haleakala crater is the world's largest dormant volcano. While Kilauea is the world's most active volcano, Haleakala on Maui is the world's biggest inactive volcano. This huge volcano is responsible for forming 75% of the island of Maui. It's 10,023 feet tall, and the inside of the crater is about 7.5 miles by 2.5 miles. But most of the volcano is actually below the surface of the ocean. It's about 30,000 feet tall from the bottom of the ocean up to its highest peak. Haleakala last erupted in the late 1700s. Today, people can head to Haleakala crater to see the best sunrise in Maui and to go hiking. This is one of the many fun facts about Maui. Number 16. Hawaii is the only state that grows coffee commercially. One of the best things to drink in Hawaii is the famous Kona coffee from the Big Island. But there are actually also coffee farms in Kauai, Maui, and Oahu. That's because Hawaii has the perfect tropical climate for growing coffee. Plus, it's got rich soil. Hawaii is also the only U.S. state that commercially grows vanilla beans and cacao. Number 7. The first Asian American in the United States Senate was from Hawaii. Hiram Fong was the son of Chinese immigrants who came to Hawaii to work the sugar cane plantations. He fought for Hawaii to become a state, and in 1959 he was elected to the U.S. Senate. Fong is actually the only Republican who has ever served as a senator from Hawaii. Number 18. The Big Island has 10 of the world's 14 climate zones. Many people assume that all of Hawaii is a tropical paradise, but it actually has a more diverse climate than people realize. Head to Akaga Falls to experience the rainforest and Hapuna Beach Park for a hot desert. And yes, sometimes And yes, sometimes even snows up at Mauna Kea. Number 19. Macadamia nuts aren't from Hawaii. Go to any souvenir shop in Hawaii and you'll find boxes of chocolate covered macadamia nuts. But one of the weird facts about Hawaii is that the Hawaiian macadamia is actually Australian. It came to Hawaii in the 1920s where it soon became a harvest crop. Of course, nowadays you'll see macadamia nuts in a lot of Hawaiian and Pan-Pacific cuisine across the islands. Number 20. Gambling is illegal in Hawaii. Hawaii and Utah are the only U.S. states that have banned gambling, so don't expect to head to a casino in Hawaii. Hawaii doesn't even have a lottery. There's a reason why locals call Las Vegas Hawaii's ninth island. Number 21. No building in Hawaii can be taller than a palm tree. I think that one of the most interesting facts about Hawaii is something I learned as a kid. By law, no building can be taller than a palm tree, which is about 4 stories tall. But because of this law, Kauai has remained a true paradise that isn't overrun by skyscrapers. In addition, Kauai doesn't have a freeway, and the maximum speed limit is about 50 miles per hour. Number 22. Molokai doesn't have any traffic lights. While we've already mentioned that Molokai has about 7,400 residents, it's even more laid back than people realize. There isn't even a single traffic light in Molokai, and that's because it's not really needed. With so few people and cars on the road, traffic is minimal. Number 23. Mount Waialili is one of the widest places on Earth. One of the coolest Kauai fun facts is that it's home to one of the widest places on Earth, Mount Waialili. It rains about 373 inches each year, and one year it even had 683 inches of rain. It's no wonder why Kauai is called the Garden Isle and is known for its lush greenery. Number 24. Hawaii has lost more wildlife species than any other state. One of the most scary facts about Hawaii is about 70% of the native factor now extinct, and the rest of Hawaii's birds are in danger of becoming extinct in the future. Additionally, Hawaii has more endangered species than any other U.S. state. Number 25. Snakes are outlawed in Hawaii. One of the most amazing facts about Hawaii is that it's illegal to bring in a snake. That's to protect the native birds in jeopardy of becoming endangered. They took it so seriously that people have found smuggling snakes face 3 years in jail and fines up to $200,000. They do have snakes in some of the zoos, but otherwise it's a perfect place to go if you are afraid of snakes. Number 26. There are only 2 native Hawaiian mammals. Hawaii is full of all kinds of amazing animals like rabbits, deer, dolphins, and whales. There's actually only 2 mammals that are native to islands, and they are Hawaiian monk seal and the Hawaii bat. Number 27. Billboards are outlawed. Hawaii was the first state to ban billboards. Alaska, Maine, and Vermont have since banned them as well because they are outlawed and residents and visitors can enjoy the gorgeous scenic drives in Hawaii. Number 28. Hawaii is the only state that is not geographically located in North America. One of the most mind-boggling fun Hawaii facts is that while Hawaii is part of the U.S., it's not technically part of North America. Hawaii is 2,000 miles away from mainland. Hawaii is actually located in Polynesia, which is part of Oceania. Number 29. Hula was originally only performed by men. In ancient Hawaii, hula kahiko was a religious dance performed by highly trained men who learned it from the Hawaiian god Laka. Later on, women were allowed to learn the dance as well. Number 30. Only people with Hawaiian ancestry are considered to be Hawaiians. Hawaii facts that sets it apart from other states is how to prefer people living there. While people living in Washington are called Washingtonians, and people who live in California are called Californians, only people with Hawaiian blood can be called Hawaiians. People who are born and raised in Hawaii are called locals, and people who move to Hawaii are called Hawaiian residents. Number 31. The yellow hibiscus is the Hawaiian state flower. While many people associate Hawaii with the fragrant plumeria flower, the state flower is the yellow hibiscus. No one specified that it was the yellow hibiscus until 1988, so you see pictures of the red hibiscus and things produced before them. Number 32. Hawaii has the longest life expectancy in all of the U.S. In Hawaii, people live longer in Hawaii than they do in any other state. As of 2020, the average life expectancy in Hawaii is 81.15 years. California, New York, and several other states trail behind at 80 years. Number 33. Hawaii has its own time zone. No matter where you travel from, you'll have to change the time on your watch. That's because Hawaii has its own time zone, Hawaiian Standard Time. and they don't follow daylight savings time, so you have to consider that when trying to find out the time difference. Hawaiian Standard Times runs 2 to 3 hours behind Pacific Standard Time and 5 to 6 hours behind Eastern Standard Time. Number 34. There are no racial or ethnic majorities in Hawaii. Hawaii is that everyone there is a minority, and many people who live in Hawaii are more than race. Caucasians, aka Halos, are 25.5%, Asian, 37.6%, Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, 10.1%, two or more races, 24.2%, Hispanic or Latino, 10.7%, and African American, 2.5%. Hawaii is one of the best examples of melting pot of cultures here in the United States. Number 35. Aloha means both hello and goodbye. The Hawaiian language is pretty rich, but the most recognizable Hawaiian words is aloha. This term means hello and goodbye. It also means love. It's definitely a word you should know before planning a trip to Hawaii. Number 36. Hawaii has two official sports. The official state sports of Hawaii are surfing and outrigger canoe paddling. Hawaii picked surfing as the official state individual sport in 1998. Outrigger canoe paddling has been Hawaii's official team sport since 1986. You can see both sports at many of the beaches in Hawaii. Number 37. The Dole Plantation is home to the world's largest pineapple maze. For a kid-friendly thing to do on Oahu, head to the second largest attraction in Hawaii, Dole Plantation. Here you can ride a little train around the property, learn about pineapple, and even taste Dole Whip. But you'll definitely want to try to look at their famous pineapple maze that stretches about more than 3 acres. It's the largest in the world. There's even a scavenger hunt for kids and families can find a mystery in the center of the maze. Number 38. Its state nickname, Aloha State. It's easy to embrace the Aloha spirit when you are traveling in Hawaii. It's all about love, respect, and working together. Hawaii got the nickname of the Aloha State when it became a state in 1959. Number 39. All beaches are public in Hawaii. One of the best things about Hawaii is pretty much every beach in Hawaii is a public beach. The only exceptions are government-only beaches. That means tourists and residents are able to enjoy all the beaches in Hawaii, including ones in front of hotels and resorts. Number 40. Hawaii is the only state to honor a monarch. Since Hawaii is a home to the only royal place in the United States, it shouldn't be surprising that it's also the only state to honor a monarch. Each day on June 11th, Hawaii celebrates King Kamehameha Day. He's most famous for uniting all the islands in Hawaii in 1810, although he technically didn't conquer Kauai. Number 21. Niihau is home to Hawaii's largest lake. Honolulu Lake is the largest natural lake in Hawaii. It's about 182 acres during the rainy season, and then shrinks a lot during the dry season. However, don't expect to see it in person. Niihau is a private island that isn't open to tourists. Number 42. Surfing was invented in Hawaii. Hawaiians invented surfing hundreds of years ago, and it's played a big part in their culture. The most famous surfer in the world was Duke Kahanamoku, who won an Olympic gold medal for swimming in 1912. In addition to surfing, some even claim that stand-up paddling, or SUP, also started in Hawaii decades ago by beach boards and Waikiki. Number 43. Hawaii was the first U.S. state to ban plastic bags. Hawaii banned the use of plastic flags in July 2015. Some of the other outlets had banned them even earlier, but they were the first state to do this. So if you go to shopping in Hawaii, bring your old bags with you. Number 44. You can mail a coconut from Hawaii. If you really want to impress your children or kids, tell them they can mail a real coconut home to their friends or family. Seriously. Just find a dried out, unhusked coconut and have your kids customize it with paint, write a message and address on it, and then mail it at the post office. If you don't want to find and decorate one yourself, you can always find one at gift shops, some hotels, and even some restaurants. It's a really unique thing to do in Hawaii. Number 45. Hawaii is the only U.S. state with 2 official languages. While English is by far the most common language spoken in Hawaii, the other official language is Hawaiian. There are even some Hawaiian language immersion schools across Hawaii where kids learn to speak and write Hawaiian fluently. There's also an unofficial language called Pidgin. It's sort of like slang that incorporates words from several different cultures. Number 46. Hawaii has fog. While other places around the U.S. are polluted with smog, Hawaii isn't. However, there is volcanic ash Kilauea on the Big Island that creates fog that sometimes spreads to other islands. For the most part, it's not really dangerous, but it can be uncomfortable for people with respiratory issues like asthma. But there's a silver lining. Just like smog fog can lead to some really gorgeous Hawaiian sunsets of all kinds of colors. Number 47. People don't wear shoes inside. It's a local custom to always remove shoes before entering someone's sign. It's a sign of respect. That's why you'll see piles of rubber slippers, aka flip-flops, outside the doors at most houses. Many tourists also practice removing shoes before entering their vacation rental homes. Number 48. The Hawaiian state fish is the Humu Nukuno Kawapa ''A. This is one of the longest words in the Hawaiian language, and it's actually pretty description. It means a triggerfish with a snout like a pig. That's a pretty good visual, right? People love to say that the name is almost as long as the fish. That's because the fish usually only grows to be about 10 inches long. Don't expect to try any Humu Nukunu Kuapa at restaurants in Hawaii. It's not really something people eat. Number 49. The Big Island is actually the southernmost part of the United Islands. While Key West, Florida, likes to claim that it's the southernmost part of the U.S., it's actually only true for the continental U.S. And in fact, South Point on the Big Island holds the title as the southernmost point in the entire United States of America. Number 50. Finally, the last one. Oahu has the world's largest wind generator. One of the weirdest facts about Hawaii is that the world's largest wind generator is located on Oahu. It's located at the top of a 20-story tower, and the blades of the windmill are 400 feet long. Hawaii started researching wind power back in the 1980s, and as of 2015, 6.4% of Hawaii's electricity is produced by wind turbines. So yeah, those are all 50 facts about Hawaii. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and make sure to turn on post notifications and make sure to receive every single winner I post. And yeah, I love you guys so much. Bye.